So while we are still orchestrating this, we're going to review the updates that Anthropic has released today, today 16th of April. And so this announcement is about the release of the Cloud Opus 4.7, the latest model. That has been released by Anthropic, and this is the best model ever so far. The Opus 4.6 has been uh, a model that comes with a lot of issues. Example, it comes with a lot of hallucination issues. It comes with an automatically Anthropic silently switch off the high thinking level to medium. So there are a lot of issues that do happen. So we're gonna know by end of this session whether this is the best model or it's just an upgrade of Opus 4.6 or it's just a new model. So according to Anthropic blog, as you can see here, the latest model is now available across the globe, and the improvement are more on the advanced software engineering with particular gains on most difficult tasks. And users report that they are able to hands off their hardest coding work to this particular model with confidence. However, you need to try it yourself. We have the benchmarks, and as we can see, in terms of agentic coding, the Opus 4.6 stood at 53.4%, and Opus 4.7 jumped from 53 to 64.3%. And this is what we are going to talk about on Saturday, by God grace, inshallah. So, and when it comes to agentic coding based on verified stats, we can see 4.7 has jumped from 80% to 87.6%. This is a huge gains based on these claims. But we always encourage all of you to try that yourself so that you're sure that whether this is true or not. When it comes to multidisciplinary reasoning, we can see with tools and with no tools, the gains are not much, especially with tools, but with no tools, the gain is about 6.9%. This is insane. This is revolutionary. And when it comes to agentic computer use, we can see the gains are around 5.3%. Improvement, cybersecurity. It has dropped actually when it comes to vulnerability. Perhaps this has to do also with the recent leaks from from Anthropic, when the cloud code was actually mistakenly, I would say, or intentionally, leaked via a source map file. I haven't looked at that, but I've reviewed some videos on YouTube that talks about that. But from the look of things, it's insane. There are tons of features that Anthropic will be releasing throughout the year, and I would say sit tight and look forward to them. So these are some of the things. And then going by this blog, we can see that last week Anthropic announced that Project Glasswing, highlighting the risk and the benefit of AI model for cybersecurity, and they have stated that cloud meters, will be released on a limited preview. This is a cyber safeguard. So the Mintos is supposed to be a code reviewer where the Opus 4.7 is the first such of model that is going to have it. So it's a cyber capabilities that are not as advanced as those of Mythos, but indeed during its training, they recommend or they experience that there are efforts that were taken by this method differently to reduce those capabilities. But they have released 4.7 with safeguards that automatically detect and block requests that indicate prohibited or high risk cybersecurity issues. And I have tested this earlier on, and the Opus 4.7 is telling me outrightly I cannot perform this tag. And ideally, the tags, those are the tags that I ideally gonna do them. they are not as dangerous as possible, but I'm trying to create a bot that will trade crypto, but outrightly the model reject that. So which is interesting, but I think also that are things that we can do. So security professionals who wish to use, 4.7 for legitimate cybersecurity purpose, such as vulnerability research, penetration testing, red trimming, are invited to join the verification program. But as a cybersecurity expert as I am, I try to do some things, but the model refused that. So I will need to get those permission from Anthropic and to be invited. But I would encourage all of you to go and test this model. Some of the highlights from the early testing of this new model is, for example, number one, instruction following. We've seen a situation where Office 4.6, don't follow all the instruction, it hallucinate, it just go hayway. And we've seen a situation whereby you have to stop Opus 4.6 12 times, when it's writing code, because it wasn't thinking. The thinking level were set to be medium, and there were no PR comments, there were no release comments from Anthropic. They just silently reduce it from high to medium. So if you have not noticed it, you'll have to go back and switch it. So that's what happened. So the model goes ahead and just dream. And this is one thing that we have seen from, from the videos that I've seen from the leak, that one of the future is that the Anthropic is going to release for cloud code is cloud code can dream. Actually, when you're building features, the model can dream of upcoming features and will try to build a plan around it and then execute autonomously. So autonomous execution is also one of the feature that they're going to release later on. Secondly, in terms of some of the notable changes from the early testing is improved multimodal support. Office 4.7 has a better vision for high resolution images. And I've tried the two model 4.6 and 4.7, and I can see the difference. I just drop a chart from a trading platform, and then where I got way better, more explanations, details from Office 4.7, because it was able to understand the pixels from the image. So from what they have reported, we can see that this model can accept up to 2576 pixels on a long edge, and that is 3.7 megapixels, more than three times as many as prior Claude models. This opens us of a wealth of multimodal users. It means that you can, while you're trying to code, you can actually grab a screenshot, with the quality of about 3.7 megapixels, drop it in cloud. It will be able to understand that and do that. And we have seen a model, for example, Kimi 2.0, 2.5. You can actually put in a video, you can screen record your session, and then it can replicate that up to the accuracy of 95%. So this is one thing that Opus is trying to achieve. You can actually grab an image. So Opus 4.7 is going to be a multimodal where you can actually grab an image, paste it in the model, and then you try to replicate that. So, and we're gonna see how that is going to come out. So computer agents will dance of screenshot, extract data from complex diagrams, and will this will need to be improved actually from what I've seen. But let us keep on testing and see what is going to come out in terms of real world work. As well, this model is a state of the art. I must say that is no model that is up to this level so far. Not to the Kimi 2.5, not to MEM, not to the GPT 5.4, and so on. But to be more effective in financial analysis, this particular model is way better than Opus 4.6 in terms of producer rigorous analysis. And this model is more professional when it comes to presentation, which I'm going to show you in few seconds after I'm done with this. Memory is another thing that is noted. Opus 4.7 is better at using file system based memory, so you don't have to. And this is one thing that I've seen users actually reporting, that offers 4.6 actually users are reaching. I myself have been coding for the last 2 weeks using Opus 4.6, but I hit my limit way sooner than I expected. So unlike previous model, it tries to, as it goes, it compacts your context and so on. And then when you have some instructions that you save in the local file, it only gets to bring those into the context when it is trying to solve an issue that is not part of the skill. But 4.6 kind of initially front load all of these things into its memory, in its context, and then it chucks off the context window. Before you know it, you reach your usage limit. So with 4.7 now, it has shown that in terms of memory, you don't have to write all the skills. In fact, I offload some of the skills that I have previously when I was using Opus 4.6, so that I reduce how early I actually reach my context usage. But it means that it is promising with Opus 4.7, because it is better at using file system based memory. It doesn't have to load in that into into the context window. It will base its reasoning based on those things that are there. Important notes that you put are only the things that it's gonna consume into the context window. If you did not explicitly mention those things as notes to be taken, especially when it comes to multi-session work, then it is not going to load that into the context. And I think this is beautiful on how this particular model is gonna address the issue of using the context window and using the memory. So as it moves on to the next task, it kind of upload all of those things, and then those things that it doesn't need upfront in the context. And then let us look at the chart below in terms of the knowledge work. We can see how GPT 5.4 is actually is actually better than Opus 4.6, but we can see how Opus 4.7 is able to scale higher. And when it comes to overall safety, 4.7 shows a similar safety profile to 4.6. Well, this is so a little bit concerning, because when it comes to safety of 4.6, I have seen a lot of vulnerabilities when I was trying it. But so if similar context apply, similar situation applies to Opus 4.7, it means that there are a lot of issues that will have to be addressed. I've seen a YouTuber reporting that within a few minutes they're able to identify 40 plus bugs, with this particular new model, the Opus 4.7, and which is concerning. Some buttons are not working, the screen is flashing quickly, and especially the Cloud Code desktop app. It was redesigned, but there are a lot of things that needs to be done, especially these bugs, which could take only one or two prompts actually to identify these bugs and address them. But I was wondering, how does Anthropic release this model or release this product, as it is? So um but it is not surprising, because Anthropic actually said it here, that Office 4.7 is mostly weaker, and it means that, and they said that the alignment assessment concluded that the model is largely well aligned and trustworthy, but not fully ideal in its behavior. So there is a lot to do on this model. So Mythos will remain best aligned, but I wonder that they are releasing Mythos as a preview, but Mythos was supposed to identify those risks and kind of help Anthropic to address. But I think I have a theory that Anthropic was well aware of the leak. Well, they don't want to come out to say, perhaps this is a claim to say that. they want to do open source so that they can get more contributors, more views. But I kind of guess, even if mistakenly the source code of Cloud Code was really was leaked, but somehow Anthropic is going to be gaining at the later stage. Well, a disclaimer: I haven't reviewed the lake. I haven't downloaded it because I don't want to hurt my reputation. DCMA are bringing down a lot of these reports that do that. I have seen from Twitter trade. Somebody that has identified this particular and hosted it on the GitHub. The person has injected some crypto code where you need to pay some money. So please, I want to tell everybody that don't download it because it may come with a lot of bugs, with a lot of harm that other people have injected into the mail link, just to overtake your computer and maybe ask you to pay some ransom. So it could be another ransomware out there, you know. So be careful about that. Misaligned behavior, we can see overall misaligned behavior score from automated behavior audit on this evaluation 4.7 is a modest improvement on 4.6. Well, trade with care and try it out, report. But Meter's preview still shows the lowest rate of misaligned behavior. So, well, I kind of not going to say anything. That is another thing that you need to be laughing about today. In addition to the release of Office 4.7 itself, you know, Anthropic is launching the following updates. Number one, more often control 4.7 introduces a new X high, that is extra high effort level. So you know, previously we have the high, we have the max, we have the medium, right? But right now Anthropic is introducing X high, that is extra high efforts between high and max, giving users final control over trade-offs between reasoning and latency on hard problems. And in Cloud Code, they have raised this default difficulty level to X high. Well, 4.6, they just kill high, bring it to medium. I don't know how they introduce an X high. Anthropic, we're into this. We're gonna test that. So when testing Office 4.7 for coding and agentic use, they recommend you to use high or X high for efforts. And I think, let me just give you a sneak peek on something that I've been trying, and I was using X high, and I orchestrated. So I'm gonna introduce you to that. Let me just allow that to continue because it hasn't finished, and we're gonna see how that is happening. So I'm trying the Office 4.7. I've been trying with it, trying to create some YouTube live program script like I'm doing it right now, but trying to see how it's gonna come up. So I asked Cloud Chat to actually act as production manager and design this particular live program. So let's see how it's gonna come out with that. And that script is got what we are going to use on Saturday for our session. So on the cloud platform API, so they mention about support for higher resolution image also with the API, launching tax budget in public beta. So this will give developers a way to guide cloud token spend. That means you can prioritize works are across longer runs. Finally, in terms of this, is that in Cloud Code, the Ultra review, that is a new slash command. Whoop, 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 whoop. I think this is a new thing that Cloud has released, which you don't have to create a skill to do QA. All and this is available for pro and max users. All you need to do is to just use the slash command ultra review, and this will produce a dedicated review session within the cloud code that reads through all the changes and flag to you all the bugs. So this is just like having a professional code reviewer, and cloud code is going to act as a professional code reviewer typical things that a professional code reviewer is going to flag. This is what Cloud Code is gonna do with the with the new slash command, which is ultra review. And they're giving this to pro and max cloud users. Myself, I'm a max user, so I'm gonna see how that is gonna work. So Cloud Code users, will have 3 free ultra review to try it out. So we're gonna do that. But if you want to have more usage, you can buy more usage to be able to do that. And they have extended the auto mode actually to max users, so we're gonna enjoy that. The auto mode is a new permission option where cloud makes decision on our behalf. Previously you have to dangerously skip permissions and so on, but right now that is what we call the auto mode. It will take decisions, meaning that you can run longer tags with your interruptions and with less risk, because it's not like dangerously skip permissions. Right now it is going to take decisions that a typical programmer will take without going through the dangerous route. All right, so we don't have to go through the migrations, but we have seen. Let us look at performance by effort level. For example, Office 4.7 internal autonomous agentic coding evaluation shows that 200 tokens max, which is very good. So this model is a game changer, but we're gonna confirm that when we try it. So let's head on and see what. Apologies. Let's head on and see what it has developed for me. So let us download this slide deck, and let us open the slide deck. So so let us review this slide deck and see what the slide deck is all about. So what we're going to talk about is the 3 levels of AI that will change everything, and from being an assistant operator to an organization. So this is what we're going to be running in this order. 8 different orders and 8 segments we're going to look at, and 5 minutes. It's going to be 50 minutes. One mental model that changes how you work. So this particular deck you see right now is what we're going to use on Saturday, but I'm just giving you a sneak peek, so I'm not gonna take time. But pretty much 99% of you are using AI the wrong way. You're not being broken, you're not being lazy, but you are just stuck at the floor of what is possible. So if you're watching this, you're probably one of them that are using, AI the wrong way. So the 3 things, 3 years ago, it was a tool. Today, it's a team make. Tomorrow, it's a team, and very soon, it's the whole company. You can actually deploy company full of AI. I've reviewed a video yesterday where an AI was used to open up a store. And sorry, you can go outside that video. All right. So it's a sneak peek. We're not going to go through this. Apologies. Hmm. So don't see AI as a chatbot. You don't see prompts. You never ask the right question. You know, AI should be as your operator. You need to trigger it. You need to classify it, draft it, and so on. So there are a lot of things you can do, build and running in Africa right now. So this is something I'm gonna review and see how it's gonna work, right? But this slide deck is entirely built by cloud. All right, so we're gonna review it and see how it's gonna do that. And thank you, Africa. Say, so I'm gonna see you on Saturday where we're gonna review this massively. Thank you for joining tonight. and we shall meet on Saturday. Thank you and bye.